Yes, people, welcome back to the first XI. This is Grounded Football, but the Manchester United edition. Do me a favor, if you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel, smash the like button, and make sure you turn on notifications. Rachel's here as always, Bryant's back on the show, and Vita is making her first appearance on the channel. So, welcome all. We're going to talk about the protests. We're going to talk about the transfer window. We're going to talk about having 4 games in 9 days, or 3 games in 5. We're going to talk about Europa. Can we get to the final? Can we win the final? Are we going to get an upset in the semis? What do we expect with the injuries? But we'll start just quickly. We'll quickly touch on the Champions League final, just quickly. As a rival's perspective, Chelsea and Man City in the final. Rachel, we'll start with you. What's your thoughts?
Fuming. Real Madrid and PSG let me down, to be honest. They were horrible in the semi-finals, to be honest with you. Real Madrid especially were horrendous at both legs.
Oh, here she is.
Yeah.
Well done,
yeah,
congrats.
But they were just. It was just so easy for Chelsea today. Honestly, Real Madrid didn't put up a fight at all. It was horrendous. They weren't attacking. They weren't doing anything. Their passing was slow and laboured throughout the whole game. You would have thought in the second half they would have been a bit more aggressive, put a bit more effort in. They just didn't. They didn't try. It's like they gave up before the game even started. It was horrible, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to ask you, who do you want to win?
None. I want them both disqualified.
Okay. Fair enough. Vita, thoughts on the Champions League final from a Manchester United fan's perspective?
Honestly, it's kind of heartbreaking because you would just think that, like, if we would have just won against Istanbul, just found a way to get that point, we could at least made it to like a semi-final. I'm not saying we could have won it, but we definitely could have made it far, knowing the way these teams played. Bayern Munich looked toothless up front. Atletico Madrid sat back, and then just seeing the way Madrid played today, I have my money on Madrid, but I said the way Chelsea played in the first leg, it just looked like a Chelsea City final, and it hurts in all honesty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No. Who would you want to win? Who would you prefer to win?
I said I'll be a Chelsea fan. Because I can't see City winning it. I just can't. I just don't want City to win it. I just don't want City to win it.
Fair enough. Brian, let's hear your thoughts.
I mean, PSG are part of a farmers league, right? So I mean, were we really expecting them to do anything in the Champions League? Like
Poch tax. That's what it is.
Yeah. We're gonna see. I don't even blame Pochettino. It was happening under Tuchel too. It's just that team. It's just that team. Like their inability to turn over a team with a level of quality to go to a final in Europe, in spite of their resources, it confounds me. It makes no sense when you have players like Mbappe and Neymar and Marquinhos and Verratti.
Yeah,
you should be blitzing teams. And like the fact that, and granted, Manchester City are an excellent side. So one of the absolute worst sides that PSG could have played at this stage in the tournament, right? They're great. Manchester City are. And so I'm not surprised. They didn't hold their nerve and their discipline. And you can tell like teams that aren't, that's one of the things that Pep teams do when they keep the ball so well and you go so long without it, they force you into making silly mistakes, which is what PSG did. And so I'm not surprised that they ended up going out. But in addition to, the Chelsea side, Real Madrid, come on. Like,
yeah.
Come on. Like, Chelsea's team is super top heavy. They don't have all they are missing some pieces. And Tuchel's come in and, he's done really well with their team. So, I'm not surprised that way either, considering kind of where things are with that Real Madrid side. But I was expecting Chelsea to lose, but not surprised that they're through to the final, given the run that they've been on under Tuchel since he came in. So sucks, but it is what it is. I don't care. We're not in the Champions League, so why do I care about that?
That's kind of where I am.
Yeah. We don't watch that. We don't watch that. B-rate brand of football. The Europa League is where it's at. So
Yeah, the small club Champions League. Yeah.
yeah.
But who do you expect to win? If you had to put your money on a team to win it.
Yeah, if I had to put money on a team to win, it would be Manchester City.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want them to win.
Yeah.
I
No,
don't want them to win.
They can win the fake treble. That's all they can win now. They can't do the actual treble. That's for
They
big
can't do
clubs.
the actual treble. No.
Yeah. Okay. Let's get into the protests. Let's start with that. Really. So this is the second protest. Big protest. Fans stormed the stadium. We're not behind that, by the way. We're not behind breaking an entry and all the violence. Actually, we're not behind the violence from the fans, and we're not behind the violence from the police either, by the way. Like punching people in the mouth and in the stomach and between the legs and all that when they're on the ground, we're not for that either. But do you think there'll be more protests? Do you feel the Glazers are going to respond to this in any way? And if they do, what would the response be? And let's go back the other way now. So I'll start with Brian.
Do I think there'll be more protests? Yes. Until Manchester United end up having the summer that I think all Manchester United fans are expecting them to have. If Man United finish, kind of a handful of points behind City in the run into the end of the season, and if they end up winning the Europa League, I think I'd be shocked if the board didn't back them in the summer and they bring in a couple of high quality players. I fully see that happening this summer, and I think that seeing high quality players come into the team will probably quell some of the noise around the protests. I'm not saying that that's necessarily right or wrong. I think that's just a reality of how fans are now. Like the reason things are so high are mostly is because of the Super League, but it's also because of the lack of success under the Glazers. If fans have a good summer, they might just kind of sit back on their heels a little bit and watch and see what happens. So I'll be shocked if there wasn't another protest.
Yep, fair enough. Danny, welcome to the stream. We were just talking about the two protests. Do we expect more protests? Do we think the Glazers will react to the protests and the fans? And if they do react to it, what reaction will we see?
The Glazers don't give a fuck. They don't care about the protests. What I would say is this, though. I don't know who the puppet master is, but I'm starting to suspect that someone's pulling some strings in some group chats that we're not aware of. I don't think, like, the fans at the hotel not letting the team leave, that seemed calculated to me. I don't think that was an accident. We've seen what Man United fans have done to TeamViewer on Trustpilot and all of that as well.
Yeah.
Ultimately, if you want the Glazers to change their ways or sell the football club, you need to hurt their pockets. So, not renewing season tickets. If you go to the game, not spending on merchandise, not buying beer, food, etc., that's the only way to really, that's the only really way to hurt them. Beyond that, though, I think they'll pay lip service to the fans. I don't think Joe Glazer is going to change and be man of the people all of a sudden. But ultimately, they'll say what they need to say in the media at some point. And like Bryant was saying, we should have a decent summer. I don't think we're going to have a great summer. Because for me, we've still got, we've got last summer's shopping list that we're going to try and do this summer. And I don't even see us getting everything we need, which is a striker, a right winger, a defensive midfielder, and a centre back.
Now we'll get Sancho, and that'll be it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I saw a story today that we want to get Harry Kane, and I'm like, whatever.
Oh, I saw
like,
that.
I'm just like, no. I'm just like, no. I think
You think we're getting a striker even though we're keeping Cavani? Because that tells me we're not.
No, I agree with you. I think getting Cavani
No,
we're
not anymore.
We're not going to get a striker. All the stuff about Haaland being a number one target is a load of nonsense. Like, it's such a load of 150 mil. We didn't want to spend 100 mil on Jadon Sancho last summer. We've had a worse financial year. We want to now make Haaland our top target. I'm not buying that one either. So, I've got low expectations this summer, to be honest with you, Indiana. I'm not expecting much from you guys.
I feel it's the best way to be because I was crushed. I'm not going to lie. I was absolutely crushed after the win. I thought Sancho was a done deal.
Me
I
and you
thought it was
both.
a done
Me
deal.
and you both.
Yeah, we all did. That was
Apparently, it was one step away, and the step was, how much money do you want again?
No,
No.
it was payment was the step.
yeah.
It was said.
Yeah. We were one step away.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll take the player. Oh, how much? No. Like, all right,
Yeah.
cool.
No. Vita, what are your expectations and what are your thoughts on the protest?
My thoughts on the protest, honestly, obviously, the lawful stuff, that's just not right. But the protest itself, I'm shocked at the amount of fans came out back to back for both protests because I knew it was going to be a big outcome, but seeing how many people was actually there for a while for us to actually get the game stopped, you know what? Props to United fans for that one, the ones that was able to get there, and for the transfer window. Even if we get like, I'm not confident. I think next season we're going into this season's team. I don't see us getting no more than maybe a Sancho for PR, not even for the team, but PR, calm everything down. I don't even, maybe they'll try and get a CDM, maybe. But all I see is just Sancho and the same team from this season going into next season and competing. That's the sad truth because it's not a penny more is what we're seeing on social media, and people is actually starting to boycott MUTV and starting to do little things. And what Danny said, you gotta hurt them. You gotta hurt their pockets. Somebody close who used to work on the Glazers said they don't care unless you hurt their pockets. So this is where we have to do
It's
our
true.
part and start to do something about it. And it's great to see United fans finally united, ironically, to get them out. It's just crazy. In all honesty, the position that we are versus ones where we was. It's just honestly crazy.
I agree. The only question I got for you is Sancho a big enough star yet to go down the PR move? I mean, it's like if you were to sign a Neymar or an Mbappe, for me that's going all out, that superstar. I don't think Sancho is a superstar yet. I think he's got potential to be one, but is it a big enough signing for those fans to go back and buy shirts?
No.
I think so. Only because of how hyped he was last season. People's buying shirts with Sancho 7 on the back, and we
Yeah,
didn't even know
they
if he
were,
was
yeah.
even hurt yet. So I think everyone would be like happy to. Oh my god, we finally got him. Kind of like Bruno. Oh my god, we finally got Bruno. Oh look, we finally got Sancho. They'll go out and buy his shirts, and that's where their revenue, the money back again, and people will start to maybe lose the plot. But also at the same time, people are starting to say just because you got Sancho doesn't mean we still don't want you out. So from a United standpoint, beautiful PR. Maybe not on the superstar version yet, but definitely for United fans.
I think,
I disagree,
yeah,
though. I disagree.
yeah.
I think it's too little, too late. I understand the cynicism that Brian sort of put forward before, saying you get a few big signings and the fans will settle down. I don't think so. I don't think so.
Danny, I think it will. I think there will be fans that really don't. Not that they don't care enough about the club, but they don't take an interest like me and you, right? Me and you, we talk about Man United every day. For a lot of fans, it becomes the weekend. Put your shirt on, sit in front of the TV, go to the game. If there's no COVID or what have you, and deal with that. They're just happy to get a new player. They don't look at football the way other people do, especially globally, right? I think it's a very different approach from a young kid. So like my son, for instance, you sign Sancho, he'll want to buy the shirt.
Mhm.
I won't buy it for him, but his mum will.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. No.
Yeah. I think the reality of Manchester United.
Just for context, I'm not in a relationship with this woman. I'm just saying that.
But I think the reality for the Manchester United fan base as a whole is that the majority of the fans are more concerned with the success of the club in terms of wins and accolades and trophies than they are of how the club is run, because the majority of the fan base that because the ascension of Manchester United as a global kind of like sporting brand came through their success. So fans are hanging on to that, expecting those times to return. They couldn't give a rip about what the Glazers do or don't do. And I think that there's a piece of me that I want the Glazers gone. I absolutely want the Glazers gone. And I think that most Manchester United fans probably want the Glazers gone as well, but they care more. They're going to put more energy toward how is Ali doing? Is he good enough to be here? Are our players good enough? Are we? Why aren't we winning semifinals? Blah blah blah, stuff like that. Like it's all about results. It's not about the structure of the team. So like in the minds of the general populace of Manchester United fans, if we sign Sancho in the summer and maybe a DM, which is, in my opinion, what I think we will sign. I think we'll get Sancho, and I think we'll probably get a DM. We're not going to sign a center back because we re-signed Bailly. We're probably not going to go get a striker because Cavani's staying, and he's having a great end to the season as well. But I think if we get Sancho and a DM, and the fan base deems those signings to be better than what we have, then they will attribute potential success to that and will care less about what the Glazers do or don't do.
Right.
But this is the thing,
it's an
though.
unfortunate reality.
You even saw it when it was after the protest. Ali out was trending the next day, so people it was trending the next day. So it's like, where's the point? You want the owner out, but you want the manager out. It's like, which do you want out first?
It's easier to point fingers at the manager too. We know that as fans.
We know that.
Do you know what it is? Do you know? And these are the fans that annoy me. Is the fans that are pissed because we're not winning, but they're too lazy to go and find out why.
Yes.
No, they annoy me because it's like it must be the manager. It must be the manager. They're too lazy to look into it. And before they know it, an agenda set in, as Danny calls it, the Ollie out disease is set in. There's no cure for it. The only cure is Ollie being sacked. That's the only cure. But yeah, they don't look. They just don't look past it. And I find it laziness, to be honest, because it's
But do
just
you guys
easy.
think? But what do you think Sancho and the defensive midfield is enough to win the league? I don't.
No way. No
It
way.
depends. Hold on. I don't know.
If
If we end like 6 points behind, like 6 to 8 points behind City at the end of the season, my answer is yes. I think so.
It depends, though. It depends what
think so.
level. But Brian, it depends what level City go to. So if they go 90 plus, if they go 90 plus,
They're not going to sign anybody.
Jonathan Kim asks the question. Ask the question. Hey guys, how far do you think we are from Man City and Chelsea? And welcome Mr. Structure himself to the channel.
this is the problem. Chelsea,
We're above
Roman
Chelsea.
is going to back Tuchel this summer. There's no doubt about it. That's the difference. There's no doubts about what Roman's going to do. We know his track record.
So that hang on. That being said, and we all know this. So Man City, whether they buy a dud or not, they'll replace him anyway. So it doesn't matter. They're going to spend money. Chelsea are going to spend money. Liverpool are going to have players back. With all of these protests, the fact that shirt sales have been dropping off, do you think the Glazers are going to stay on the same level, or do you expect them to spend big to try and appease the fans? What?
I don't even
What's going to
expect
happen
that.
here?
I don't even expect them to spend. It should when he got asked, do you have any comments? And he's just walking off, minding his day as he's in. And it's just like, you don't care. And the only thing I could generally see them doing is what Brian said. Just got to see him.
It's not even about them.
And then they go.
It's not about them caring, bro. This is what I've been telling people. We're run by the mafia, right? We're a cash business. I don't know if you watch mafia documentaries. We're a cash business. What the club generates itself for cash reserves, that's what goes out on transfers. They will not put a pound in, not a penny, not a 5 pence piece, nothing. James Cooper, The Athletic, Manchester Evening News, we know what we have. We have 80 million by the end of the season, potentially 100 million in cash. That's it. So if we're smart and we can put 30 million down on free transfers, maybe we get a centre back, a DM, and a right winger. But that's the only way. But they're not going to go above and beyond. Look at what Chelsea did last summer: centre back, full back, goalkeeper, attacking midfielder, Werner left forward. Like
10 striker. Yeah.
ticked all these boxes in one summer. Now they're going into this summer. They've only got a few boxes to tick. Meanwhile, we've got 2 years of shopping list to do.
So
2 years.
And that's just under this
Yeah, it's
man.
more than 2
But we've
years.
also been in that position under the Glazers, and that's happened for us as well. Under Van Gaal, we signed like 6 players in the summer. So like, and under Mourinho, we signed like 4 or so as well. So it's not beyond the realm. We can't act like it has never happened under the Glazers at the stage where Manchester United are right now. We can't act as if it's impossible. But given the most recent track record, it's highly improbable that it will take place, but it's not impossible. So,
But
so
we've only
that-
done that. We've only done that when we've been out of the Champions League. We spend big when the team's out of the Champions League.
Right.
When we finish, to get back into the Champions League. So then that attracts sponsorships. Anyway, I'll make that comment. Good evening to you all. Peace, love, light up to you all. Thank you for inviting me and the young guys. It's not about what they care about, what they have. We are a cash machine. Like the brothers, we are a cash machine. We are the Glazers' personal cash machine. And the only way we do it is we keep this pressure up. Because we've never had an opportunity like this before. 16 years ago, I was out there getting chased by police and battened, on my back. When they came to the club to try to take over, that's the only time they ever gave an interview, actually. And they gave an interview to the club channel. And they got headed out by police escort. And we all knew it.
Bulletproof cars as well.
It ripped the heart. It ripped the heart of friends. Friendships were lost after that. Families were splintered because people were like, well, how can we support them? And people were throwing their season tickets away. And honestly, our best friends fell out, brothers fell out, whole families fell out because of this. And a lot of people, about 5,000 to 8,000 fans, said, we're not doing this. And they set up FC United.
Let me ask you a question, because you're in Manchester. I know you're a big part of the protests. You've been to all of them. Is there a different feeling right now for protests? So from the 2000 and when they first came in 2005 to 2010, and these two, and I hear there's going to be more, right? Well, they're planning to do more. Is there a different vibe on the ground? Is there a different feeling?
Yeah, on the ground it is. Yeah, obviously I think many factors are playing with this. There's many factors. Obviously, everybody's been locked up for almost a year and a half. That plays into it. The fact that they did this, because we used to always moan about the Glazers, and everybody's like, well, then why are you moaning about the Glazers? They buy players. Why are you... I mean, the green. That's what, when people who come out, I mean even we have to address, and I'm so happy with Jamie Carragher. For me, he's gone up in my estimations, for him coming out and just calling out the lazy pundits, right? Man United won, 2005, winning the league. You know what I mean? We were still protected because you knew what was coming. 2010, 11, we were winning, 3 league titles in a row, back-to-back Champions League finals. And that's the famous picture where everyone remembers. David Beckham, as he's getting clapped off the pitch at Milan Manchester United, he picks up the green and gold scarf.
Yeah.
And so it is a different feeling because this is just, to me, it's just added fuel to the fire. It added fuel to the fire, and it showed that when the Man United, all in these 16 years, have had every right to moan and to hate the Glazers. They nearly destroyed football. Do not get it twisted. This is the bank that helped them to take over. That was sponsoring this whole Super League. JB Morgan. This is the bank Woodward was working for. Woodward helped. Richard Arnold. These guys were help the Glazers to take over Man United. And this was the bank that was putting up, according to reports, 10 billion, and they wanted to really get to 40 billion from potential TV revenues, and they were going to give them 350 million a year, and have that close-up league. So, to me, I think for the first time of everything that's happening, the lockdown and everything that's happening, and people are now have more time to research and get on Google and go, what's going on?
Yeah.
So there was a lot more feeling. Never before have players. I mean, that people forget that. People thought it was a joke when they went to the training ground. I know people who were on that protest. We decide when you play, and people thought it was for jokes. People literally thought, that's just that. Why, that's that hashtag. No, we decide when you play. And that game, this protest was organized and it was strategic. They did not let the buses out on the Lowry. It's like a mile and a half, nearly 2 miles from Old Trafford.
Bro, before you came on, I said to Indiana, that was not an accident. I could just tell that was, and all the stuff online with TeamViewer, this is not an accident.
Listen, it was going off in Telegram. It was going off in Signal. Where are you going? Are you going outside the ground or are you going outside the hotel? This is what it was. And we decide when you play. People thought it was a joke. It was.
Yeah, my only concern is that if the Glazers could, in their mind, write off that protest as, well, the people that stormed the field and prevented Manchester United fans from doing what they want to do, which is support their side, don't really represent this club.
Doesn't matter.
As fans.
Doesn't matter.
As fans. I think that there's an opportunity where, well, I say opportunity. I think it does matter to an extent. Like I think it doesn't, and I'm not saying that, like, again, for me, it is what it is. Manchester United Liverpool is going to happen. Like, it doesn't matter really when, but I think that there's, like, that's why protests are so, like, you have to tiptoe lines with protests, and there are instances, like, again, nothing was particularly violent on the end of Manchester United fans. Like, there was violence put toward people who were there, which is not okay. But when you protest, you have to find how long can I walk this line until what I do loses its original meaning. And if you're trying to get to a place to where you want to influence the thought process of the owners, maybe preventing them from getting out of the hotel is a certain thing, but then storming the stadium may have been that step too far.
No, it's not. Brian,
It's a misconception with that, though, isn't it? They didn't break and enter. They were let in.
I'm aware. I'm aware.
I've never condoned these things publicly, but logically, right? Like, you know, when Chelsea fans protested outside of Stamford Bridge, I was like, they didn't do nothing to the Super League. The halls of power, power in UEFA, FIFA, FA, Premier League, government. That's why the Super League stopped. But this is where this protest is different. Manchester United in the Premier League are in the business of putting on football matches. And we stopped them putting on football matches.
Not just football matches, the biggest game in England. The biggest game in England. One of the biggest football games in the world.
That's different. And when you see people Sky News are sending people to Florida to catch these men coming out their crib. That's different. This is different. This is different. This is not. And I think Man United fans realise we've got a small window of opportunity here because the season's up soon. We're in May. The season's done this month. There's not many more opportunities to have this type of impact. Like, the time is now. So these protests are going to go on. They're going to seize the opportunity and they're going to do everything they can do in terms of, like, protesting at games and shutting games down. I can see it happening again. I'm not going to lie. And when you see what happens when you start playing with people's money. We see what happens. At what point, let's say we get another game postponed. At what point does the FA and the Premier League say, as owners of Manchester United Football Club, you're now in, what's that term they use? You're in disrepute is the term I think they say. They use. Disrepute. Like, your ownership is hindering this organisation that is the Premier League. Your ownership is hindering what we want to do, which is put on football matches. If we get to that point, it's peak for them, along with hurting them with the sponsors and all of that as well. Like, don't get twisted. You're going to start seeing hackers. You're going to start seeing people coming together in Reddit forums. They're going to start crashing stocks. Sponsors. It's going to happen.
So does anybody know of any of the stewards at Villa Park so we can get in there?
Well, you know what? Funny enough, the leader of the resistance is from Birmingham. You don't know. If you know.
And he.
I know that.
The leader of resistance is actually a Villa fan. He's a Villa fan. Yeah. It's just not a top 6 team. That's all it is. Yeah, but I want to know about the Glazers' reaction to this though, because this isn't just one protest. This is two, and everything has been going. We know about the team viewer stuff, getting into all of that. How are the Glazers going to react to this? What do
Can
we
I ask Rachel a
expect?
question? I haven't heard Rachel speak
No.
Yeah,
yet.
Rachel.
Rachel, when you saw that video of Joe Glazer being harassed, what did you read from his body language and his energy in that
He
situation?
doesn't give a shit. He doesn't. Like, the only thing they're going to care about is damage limitation in terms of PR. And even then, they don't really care that much. And that will be on, what's his name? The guy that was on the Sunday supplement. Do you guys remember his name?
Neil,
Neil Ashton.
he messes with my internet all the time. Neil Ashton.
Yeah. Yeah, he's the only one that's going to be busy. Just him. His team they're the only ones that are going to be busy. No one else is going to care. I'm being honest. Like I said with the protests, like I agree with the protests. I don't condone the violence in other human beings, obviously, but I didn't really care about them going into the stadium or anything like that. But I don't think they're going to care unless you keep the momentum going. If you just stop now, or you just it sort of peters out, then all of this, all the effort that people have made, and a lot of people have made a lot of effort with this, it's all going to go to crap because you have to keep the pressure up. But yeah, the only people that are going to be busy is going to be Neil Ashton and his little posse. That's it. I'm telling you.
No, I actually I agree with that. He was brought in for a reason. He's very good at what he does. And actually, you have to kind of hand it to the Glazers or Woodward, whoever brought him in. It was a great move to get Neil Ashton in to do that. This is the problem. Imagine you have owners at the biggest club in England, one of the biggest clubs in the world, and they're having to bring people in to cover them.
It's not even that. It's like
it is that though, isn't it?
But everyone has PR
spin
departments,
something, spin some PR, make it sound good.
Everyone has PR departments, but you bring in him, Neil Ashton of all people.
The Sun, yeah.
Never rated him as a journalist, like point blank. Period. Like Chelsea fans hated him because he was always first to undermine Chelsea managers as a journalist for the Sun. So yeah, it's just who they picked tells you what you need to know about them.
Just to say, we asked for a director of football, and then they signed Neil Ashton. That just shows you.
That tells you.
Yeah.
Really.
We're all crying out for a football structure, director of football, and the most well-known CEO of any football club was Ed Woodward. Ed Woodward gets this guy to help him out.
So, on the back of that,
can I just say just to say because there's been a lot in the media making it out we're hooligans, we're violent. I just want to make the point. I was at the protest. The police came to clear the fans away from the Munich tunnel. That's when the kickoff happened. And I don't know if any of you guys have ever been to a game. I'm sure you've been to a game and you've seen police kick off with fans. You know how heavy-handed the police get when it comes to football fans. Yeah. They came with it, and some people gave a back to them. And also, on the thing about breaking into the stadium, that wasn't organized. I guarantee you now, it was off chance. It was a chance. But it wasn't organized. But it shows you how the infrastructure is horrendous. Giving it a couple of kicks, doors fall down, and you can get through and get to the stadium.
It's deeper than that. It's deeper than that. It's after the training ground breach.
Yeah.
How are you not prepared for this? How did you not?
And they had notice as well.
This is what I mean by bringing the club into disrepute.
But that's the reason why they don't want to pay. They don't want to pay for further security. That's what I'm trying.
But they're endangering their
They don't want to pay for further security. They don't want to pay towards getting more police because it's about dividends. It's about how can we save 100,000, 100 grand there, a million here, so that we can give it to ourselves.
Yeah. No, 100%. So off the back of that, we've now been told there's going to be 4 games within 9 days or 3 within 5 because of the rescheduled Liverpool game. What are your thoughts on that? Let's move on from the protest because this is something we will continue to talk about. But we've also got to get through topics.
And yeah,
what
I
are your
just want
thoughts
to say this
on that?
very quickly. One benefit of the protest no one's thought of. Like Ollie should not be picking Marcus Rashford tomorrow, right? So that protest, and with Ollie making the right team selection tomorrow, Marcus Rashford might finally get a week off. So some good's going to come out of
Well,
this. We may not get the
well,
Glazers out.
I don't know.
We may
I
not
don't
get the
know about
Glazers
that.
out, but Marcus Rashford will
let's
finally get some rest.
let's do that. Let's do that. Let's talk about tomorrow's game, because we know Dan James is injured, which tells me that Marcus Rashford is playing.
You can't. He shouldn't play.
I know
Come
he
on,
shouldn't
man.
play. I know he shouldn't play, but it tells me he is, because I'm not seeing Diallo start.
You kind of know what Ollie's going to do, don't
I
you?
can't see that. I can't see that happening. Let's have a little rundown of what we would like to see tomorrow night. 6-1 up. We'll start with Rachel and work our way down. What do you want to see? Who do you want to see play? Who do you want to see rested?
Do you know what? I don't think he should go for a fully inexperienced team, but I think there are key players that should be rested who played a lot of football. I mean, I think Fred should be rested. I think Rashford should be rested. I think Bruno should be rested. And you've got players who can come in to play those positions as well. So it's not like we're playing, a makeshift striker or anything like that. They're all going to be replaced by players who will play in those positions, which is important in terms of being stable for the game. Maguire could be rested as well. I know he played like every game.
That's not happening.
I know it's not happening, but it should happen. Do you know what I mean? It should happen. We don't Bailly's barely played. I think he's fit again, isn't he? Well, fit. Bailly fit, basically. Why not just have, Bailly and maybe either TNZB or Lindelof? Do something like that. And obviously Tellers is going to play. Luke Shaw should be rested as well. AWB should be rested as well, actually. He's played a lot of football this season. But what do I want to see? I just want to. I'm cool with Keller starting, Bailly and Lindelof, or Bailly and TNZB. Brandon Williams is still at the club, isn't he? He could play right back. You could play like Matic in there as well. I don't think Roma offer anything much going forward. They're very slow in transition anyway, so there's not really a big problem for Matic to go into the midfield, I don't think. And you can play Donny as well. You can play him as a 10. Obviously, Cavani should be rested as well, because we know Cavani's not very reliable in terms of his fitness. And you can play Greenwood up there. There's still good players that you can just put in there for these kind of games. We've got 4 goals on them. But I don't think we're going to capitulate with experienced players like Matic and Bailly in the team, and Tellers. They're experienced players that can hold things together. But we all know Solskjaer's going to play Bruno, play Rashford, etc., at least for the 45 minutes. See what happens in the first half. If we haven't conceded a goal, then we can just take them off, because we've got 5 subs, haven't we?
Yeah, but that's still mad. It's still madness to me. I don't want to see Rashford, Cavani,
Anybody who's playing on Sunday shouldn't play.
Anybody with the slightest injury. I don't want to see Lindelof play, because I think we're going to need him in the final, because I don't think we can rely on Bailly to be 100% fit.
Is Lindelof on a yellow, Indiana?
I don't know, actually.
I don't know. He might be. But there's players like Cavani shouldn't even be on the bench.
I agree.
I don't want to see him anywhere near. We can't continue having one striker, which is another madness, really. Like imagine re-signing or extending Cavani's contract, and then you're not going to buy another striker. So then you're relying on one striker for the whole of next season, which is just crazy, because I still don't feel that Greenwood is ready yet to make the number 9 move. But Vita, what do you think we're going to see tomorrow?
Realistically, what Rachel said, we're gonna see a team that will play on Sunday come out. We're gonna see your Rashford, your Pogba's, your Bruno's. Even if he doesn't play Bruno, he'll probably play Donny. You're gonna see Lindelof and Maguire back. Talias, I feel like will come in. De Gea's obviously playing as if Ali made the switch between him and Henderson. Wan-Bissaka, people don't talk about how much games he plays. He plays every single game. I believe he needs a rest. Diallo's not starting. I feel like we're gonna go see the same team we see week in, week out. Maybe without Talias, without Luke Shaw. Pardon me. Talias is gonna come in. Diallo maybe get 60. Donny in, and Ali's gonna say, "Well, you don't know, never know what happens in football." But I just feel like anybody who's gonna play these next couple of rush games should sit out. You got your 90 minutes. If we need you, we'll need you. But other than that, we're just gonna see a team where we're gonna see for the next 4 to 5 days, and there's like kind of like madness, and it's honestly, if you think about it, it's like this is the time where we're gonna see if Ali's actually gonna utilize his squad, because we haven't seen that all season. We've always seen the same 11, the McFred, the McTominay's, the Bruno Pogba's. I just want to see if Ali's going to start, if this is the start of Ali using his squad. And over these next couple of days, is he going to continue doing it, or is he going to do this? Okay, you guys get a 60 here, and then I'll bring on someone 30th minute or 90th minute. I want to see how he's going to use the squad.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think tomorrow's the perfect opportunity to get players rested with the fixtures we've got coming up, and we're in the final pretty much. You know, it's
Yeah.
it will be. we are there.
If
We are there. I'm not hearing anything. I'm not hearing it. We're there. We're there.
Nuruddin's ready to burst your bubble.
Brian, should we be seeing Diallo and Donny, Tellez, Greenwood up top? Maybe what should we be seeing?
Yeah, we should be seeing those players in those positions, but we won't. So, I mean, the reality. I mean, that's the reality of it.
Yo,
like,
Brian,
we won't.
Brian, your comedic timing, but we won't. Just the way you delivered that.
I mean, we won't because like on the one hand, I would love to see Ali use the squad, but on the other hand, dude, you chip one layer deep into this team, I'd start to not trust players. There are some players who start every week that I don't trust. So, like, Lord help me if Ali starts bringing in the dudes that he doesn't want to play every week. Like, forget that. Like, Tellez can play. Like, we can shift around. Like, we can bring in Donny. Like, Diallo can even start. Like, but like, I don't want to see Matic in midfield for that long. Like I just don't because we've been there before where we've been like, we can put Matic in, it should be okay. And the dude's just it's like for every 30 minutes he plays against midfielders half his age, it takes away 6 more months of his career. Like, I can't watch that happen to him. You know what I mean? So it's just like for me, I'm Ali, like the 11 that we see every week, Ali plays them because of the chemistry that's there, and we have to acknowledge that. But also, we do have depth in some areas of the team that we should use, and Ali doesn't use those players. Hopefully, this is an opportunity, given the fixture congestion on the back of the canceled Liverpool game, to rotate a little bit. Because if we're in the final already for the Europa League, barring something ridiculous happening, which shouldn't happen, right? Like, what we do going forward in the Premier League is more important than this game against Roma. Like, if we're up 4 goals against them, then what the team that we put out against Aston Villa matters more. Getting that selection absolutely spot on is far more important than who you do and don't play tomorrow. So hopefully Ali goes that route, but I could also see a scenario where we concede a goal in the first half and then Ali starts to panic, and then all of a sudden you see like Rashford limping around ready to come on. So I'm just saying, like, it's a reality. We've seen Ali do that too, where he's tried to rotate, and then the rotated squad couldn't like keep it together for half an hour, and then he's yanking people off the field. So I mean, I don't know. I would love to see. For me, I'll put it like this: if Diallo starts, I'll be happy. Rashford's been playing with injury since he was 19. He'll be all right.
Danny, what do you want to see? Because you're really big on the midfield.
Look, there's a misconception. This whole idea that he doesn't utilize his squad is just there's only one player he hasn't utilized properly. That's Van der Beek. That's it. He's the one. That's the one frustration. I understand it. He just sees him as an attacking midfielder, which frustrates me. Just let me see him in central midfield. If you're right, Ollie, and he can't play there, let me know. Play him there so I can see that he can't play there. Then I can get over it and understand. Cool, he's an attacking midfielder. Bruno's you're untouchable. You don't want to drop him. I can get with that. It's just because I don't see Van der Beek. I'm just like, let me see him. He's a quality player. Let me see him play. So Van der Beek has to start for me tomorrow. I don't want to see Rashford play. Like, the guy's been injured. He's a walk. He's a zombie. Let's keep it real. Man's a zombie on the football pitch. Like, just rest him. Just let him rest. Let him rest. Beyond that, Maguire. Look, you know why Maguire plays every game? You want to know what it is? He doesn't have any fast twitch muscles, so he's never going to get injured. That's why he can play every football match. Because he's not an athlete. He doesn't have to worry about what muscle's going to get injured. He doesn't put any energy into his muscles or anything. He's fine. So Maguire's starting to call.
He's not an explosive player, is he?
No.
I'm not going to lie. I wouldn't start Tellers.
You wouldn't start Tellers?
No.
You wouldn't
You
start
play Luke
Shaw?
Shaw.
Shaw's in beast mode right now. Let him play.
Yeah, I wouldn't start Tellez either. You sit Shaw, and all of a sudden he's like, I'm back in Jose's dungeon again.
And I don't know if you guys noticed,
Tellez
Tellez is not a very good football player. He can't progress the ball. He's erratic with combinations. Basically, he needs to be playing for Conte or Tuchel. We'll get you in a wing back position.
Yeah,
we'll
he needs to be in a back five.
just so you can cross the ball.
Yeah,
Like he hinders the way that we play. So I don't want to see. Yeah, I'd rather Shaw plays over Tellez. I want to see Bailly back in the team. I think he's been fit for a decent amount of time now. He should come in tomorrow. Wan-Bissaka, Iron Man, he's going to play. I agree with Brian. Matic is just past it. He's just too slow. He can't. He just can't come into the team. And as slow as Roma are, like, don't get. You know, I changed my mind. We can get away with it. We're 4-0 up on aggregate, right?
Yeah,
no, we can't, man. We'll concede 5 minutes in.
But Brian, like, realistically,
but it's fine.
Let's keep it real. I want to ask everyone here a question. Would you rather see Ollie see what he did against Leicester? Yeah. Do the same thing again. Yeah. But even if we lost 2-0, we still go through. It doesn't even matter. I'd take that sacrifice just so our best players are fresh for the rest of the season.
I would take that as well. I know people are going to get onto me about it, but I don't care. As long as we go through to the final, it doesn't matter. Honestly.
Yo, listen, I was on board with the Leicester. I was on board with the FA Cup sacrifice. I got it. I understood it.
Yeah,
I got it.
Too.
No, when he done it, I was like, okay, he sacrificed.
No, he's not happy.
I get it. But I looked at it and I was like, he sacrificed this game, brought all of the players back who were injured, just so they can get a game, sacrificed it, just so we can focus on the Europa League and Premier League.
You know what it is?
Cool.
I don't agree with it completely with the FA Cup. I was pissed on the day. Don't get me wrong. I got over it very quickly, but it was a quarter final, and then obviously we got Southampton in the semi. I'm not saying it's going to be an
easy, but he didn't know that. He didn't. No,
I hear that.
But do you remember the run of games we had over 12 games? We had like 5 games in 12 days.
Yeah, that wasn't good.
And we had, remember, people forget. Not only did we have about 5 games in 12 days, we had bodies dropping along the way. Bodies were dropping.
Rashford's kept reanimating and getting back up, so he's like, "You're going back in."
Yeah, Rashford wasn't in a good place.
Rashford it was like a Royal Rumble, and Rashford was the last man standing.
I hear that, but this is the same manager who played Bruno Fernandes in the Sociedad game when we had a massive advantage, and then brought on Rashford at half time.
Yeah, so, that was mad.
Like, what was the point in that? Do you know what I mean? Like,
crazy.
I understand exactly what you're saying with the FA Cup thing and sacrificing it, but you can't make that decision in that game in a quarter final and then make the decision you make in Sociedad.
But you know what I'm really saying is he's already done that in this instance. I don't think we're going to get knocked out of the Europa League and not get to the final if he does it again. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I hear that 100%. That's why I'm saying you can change the team. Like, I get your point with Tellez. I get the point with Matic, but like, considering how much running, for example, Fred does. All right, whatever your views are on Fred, we all have our views on him, but he does run a lot and he does play a lot. He's been playing a lot of games as well, so giving him a rest is a good idea. I know what you're saying with Maguire as well, but there's no problem with playing, say, Tuanzebe, who hasn't had a lot of game time this season anyway. Why not just try it out and see what happens? And then if he's having a calamity game, you can take him off anyway. But the odds of him having such a calamity. Yeah, but the odds of him having such a calamity where we shit 4 goals in the first half.
He won't do that either, though, Rachel. That's the problem.
Yeah,
if it's going back, we seen this with Fred in the Champions League.
Yeah,
3 minutes in, me and Danny are voice noting. Fred's got to come off.
Yeah,
he's got to come off.
So
And
they're
it
coming
was
a mile
mistake
away.
after
You guys,
mistake
you
after
guys are
mistake, and then
haters.
he's red
Fred's
carded.
the greatest.
Yeah, it was just like no.
No,
He
there's nothing
he
more
just had a
annoying.
poor game. He's had some great games this season, but he had a
He
poor
has.
game.
No,
It's
I
because he had
confess.
a 90% pass completion, so he had a good game, right? That's how we
Yeah.
judge Fred now, isn't it?
Yep.
That's how
Yep.
we do it, you know?
If all his instructions were don't give the ball away, then he's patting him on the back. He's like, great job. 90%, killing it.
Fred,
If you weren't the reason we lost.
You know what? I could take a Matic McTominay combination for this
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
stomach it.
100%.
Yeah, just for this game.
Even though I picked Fred in my midfield because I thought if they try to, press us really hard in midfield. I mean, it depends on the tactic that Roma are going to use. I always say if you push up against us, it's suicide. It's suicide.
It's Jose Mourinho. He's going to park the bus.
Yeah, on the counter, we're quite deadly. But yeah, I'll be shocked if he makes more than 3 changes tomorrow.
Yeah, he'll put Shola short tire in goal. Call it a day.
I don't know.
What would the 3 changes be? What would the 3? What do you expect them to be?
Shola in goal.
I think definitely Matic would come in. I think this is the type of game choose because they don't shift the ball quickly in midfield. They're not shifting the ball very quickly in midfield, and that's what Matic struggles against.
But could you imagine that Spinazzola guy against Matic? Jesus.
Also, listen,
Spinazzola was.
yeah.
Oh
What a
man.
great name. What a great name.
There's already rumours starting about Matic going to Roma, so this could be a kind of a little rehearsal to see what they're going to buy. They're going to get him on a free or whatever. They're going to give us 1 million, 2 million for him next season. He will play. I think Donny should play. I mean, if Donny doesn't play, honestly,
He won't.
Yeah.
Donny
You
won't
just
play.
have to decide.
Nah, he's-
Donny won't play. Not this.
Donny's going to play with Pogba for me. I don't want to see Pogba play.
You think Donny will play off that wide left
Donny
position?
and Mata?
Yeah, you know what, Mata? You know what? I don't want to see Mata because I want to see the future. Mata is not going to be the future of Man United. I want to see Diallo. If I'm all honest, I want to see
He's not going to play Diallo, though.
If we start Mata and Matic, we will concede 4 goals in the first half. I'm just letting you know. Like we will concede 4 goals in the first half, and we play both of them on the same side.
Ryan, man, you're not good for our nerves, bro. Because
He's going to play both of them tomorrow now. Watch.
I mean,
Mata
fans
tomorrow.
were in the stadium. Roma had Olympic Stadium. I don't know if you've been. I've been to Rome. I've been to the Olympic Stadium. The fans actually, it's still an old like Olympic Stadium. It's not are not on top of you. There is a gap. There's a track between the fans. Yeah, between the fans and the team, and so it's still. But once the hardcore Roma fans get going, it is a noise, and that's what they did to Barcelona. They were 4-1 down, 3-0. They went through. So it can happen, and red cards can happen. I've been in my head. I was going down my day today. I'm on my bike, and I'm like, how can I see Man United losing this game? Because I coined a bottle job FC long time ago, right? As soon as Fergie docked, I was like, bottle job. Because Fergie was the greatest sports psychologist ever. Fergie was not a manager. He was the greatest sports psychologist in the world, hands down, because he could make players believe they were better than what they actually were. So I was thinking, red cards could happen, penalty. And we know in Europe, you know what I mean? A little mistimed tackle, penalty, red card. If Maguire, like we said, Maguire never gets because he never moves. He moves like a truck. You know what I mean? He moves like
I love him.
That's what he moves. So imagine him. We've seen it against West Brom. I'm all in my head. I'm playing things going.
No, we saw it in the first leg.
You know what?
Yeah,
dragging somebody down that's gone through. Somebody who's quicker than him. But I can't see them having pace. They got Dzeko. Dzeko don't have pace. So, to me, I think tomorrow he's not going to make 3 because you know what? He's already been knocked out of 5 semi-finals. Well, 4 semi-finals. Ollie is not taking any chances. We already see we got whacked 1 by Spurs, and he literally invented McTominay and Fred as a midfield players who just pass sideways. I don't even think they're that great at defending. I think Fred
liquid football
is fantastic at pressing when we're playing against teams that chip the ball in midfield. But I don't either of them. If you would have said to me like 10, 15 years ago, we're going to have somebody of Fred's quality and McTominay's quality dominating the whole season of United midfield, I would have told you.
No. Two seasons, if we don't
Two
mind.
seasons. Two seasons. Yeah, Mick Fred is here to stay.
Well, I mean, Pogba was injured. Pogba was injured. That's what I said. Pogba was injured. So Pogba came back in. Even, towards the end of last season, he was back in there and he could play the ball from a bit deeper when he's fit. When he's not fit, he gets caught. He gets, and we lose goals to that. But I just don't see, to me, I think he's going to go for it. I think the team are going to go for it. I think they're going to try to score that goal. I think because you're allowed to make 5 substitutions. Remember, it's the Europa League. You're allowed 5 subs. So
yeah, I think if United are not losing at the end of the first half, he'll sub all those players off. But if we did make some changes, I think we probably will start Matic. I actually think we'll start Matic. I think Donny will probably start as well.
He did say on today's presser, he did say a journalist asked him the question. Every the question was about football, but one of the questions that was about football, about the game tomorrow. He said he can make changes. He gives him that option to make changes tomorrow. So he did.
But he said can and not will. I can make changes. Same
Bruno's
11.
playing.
Bruno's going to play.
Yeah,
because
Bruno's playing.
he was in the presser, yeah.
Yeah, Bruno will play.
Yeah.
But I think Bruno will. I would be shocked if Bruno doesn't come off. Like, I'll be frustrated with Ali if Bruno doesn't come off at halftime if we're not losing.
I think the one thing we won't see is a Van der Beek and Matic because Bruno's going to play. I don't know whether Pogba can be rested. Van der Beek can play higher up.
Yeah.
I'd like to see Cavani rested. I think Telles will play. I actually think Telles will play. Wan-Bissaka's going to play.
If Telles is playing, then Cavani has to play for me.
Maguire is playing. We know Maguire's playing. Twanzebe may play. If Bailly's not 100%, we might see that.
I think he will make one change in defence. I don't think he'll mess about with the defence.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll mess about with the defence.
He did that. Who did he?
At the end of the game, you might see players coming off, and the only person that I could think he would take off tomorrow is Telles, because he has done that in some of the games this season.
Yeah.
Even in the home game, Telles played, and I think Shaw came on, didn't he? Shaw came on.
Yeah.
What was the back four against Leicester? Remind me.
The back four against Leicester was Lindelof. It was
Maguire played. He got nutmegged by Vardy.
Tellers
and Telles.
Telles played in that game. Okay.
Yeah, because remember he brought on Shaw when we were trying to get a goal towards the end, and everyone was like, "Why are they bringing on fullbacks for? Like Shaw is our most creative player this season."
Yeah, of course.
Honestly,
yeah. Also that game, Van de Beek did start that game too. So he was really bad.
You know
in that
what?
game.
Unfortunately for Van de Beek, during that period as well, Fred and McTominay were terrible, right? And Matic, Ollie didn't trust Matic at all. Van der Beek would have played if he was fit. That's what frustrated me. I was like, if there's ever a chance this guy might have played in central midfield, it's now. But I think that
it's also who's in the side, though, Danny. It's also who's in the side.
I think McTominay I would like to see Matic come in, but one of McTominay or Fred will play. But that Matic, Fred, Van de Beek triangle lost against Leicester in the FA Cup.
You know what it is about this Van der Beek thing, though? I don't want to see him deeper. I don't want to see him
bothered me about that, yeah? A golden rule I grew up with in football is you don't play two left-footed players in central midfield.
No.
And no one spoke about that. No commentator, no one. I'm like, do you not understand this? You don't play. Why do you think no one plays with two left-footed centre-backs? You don't do it in midfield either. It don't make no sense. It's just unbalanced.
Yeah, very unbalanced because you're going through one side. I've got a devil in detail, bro. I've got. When you said early on, I fundamentally disagree when you said that's what has been the biggest frustration of Ollie for me, especially this season. It's the lack of strength. I mean, Mata we've not even seen. Where was Mata? Mata was in Spain for ages. Where's Tuanzebe? How many times has he been used? Wan-Bissaka towards the parts of the season looked absolutely shattered. Donny, we can talk about Donny. We can also talk about like Diallo. Obviously, bringing in Diallo had more experience and played more games in the Champions League. You know, then some of our
No.
Yeah, he's only 18.
I know he's 18.
I don't think. Like for example,
you can use substitution.
Very quickly on Diallo, he literally just barely broke into the Atalanta team. He played two full games for them.
Bro, I know that. I know that.
Yeah,
when the United games that United have been winning, there's been plenty of opportunities where United were winning, and he could have come on. People forget that.
Oh no, I agree with that.
Against
I agree
Milan,
with
when
that.
he played against Milan weren't an easy team to get past. He scored
Yeah.
the goal.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
scored-
I also like don't blame Ali for not playing Twanzebe. Me personally, I don't think Twanzebe is good enough to play at Manchester United. Every
I
time
agree.
every time he plays
I
in
agree.
defense, he makes mistakes that directly lead to goals.
Yeah, but he's
I agree with
athletic
that.
and he's
Our
good on the
whole
ball,
team's
so
like that,
people
though.
forgive him.
Yeah, like our whole defense is full of mistakes.
You know, in
Like,
professional,
That's true. That's true to an extent, but there is a stability that exists within a certain selection
I'll put it another way, Brian.
That's there.
I'll put it another way. Like Maguire and Lindelof, their mistakes are chronic to who they are. Twanzebe is unpredictable. It's just concentration. You don't know what mistake he's going to make. Maguire, very quickly. Maguire, certain situations. Like if we give the ball away on the halfway line, he's dead food. Maguire's done. We saw that against Leicester when Vardy got on him one-on-one, nutmegged him. Lindelof, we know, physical duels. Yeah, but you can go through games not getting into those situations. That's what I'd say.
Yeah, and there's a level of like how Maguire and Lindelof do complement each other to an extent that like lends a little bit of steady. I'm not saying they're perfect center backs. That's not what I'm saying at all. But what I'm saying is that like
they know each other. They know each other's flaws.
Like there's a level of steadiness that is within those players that you can actually rely upon that does not exist in Axel Twanzebe. For me, whenever I see him play, I'm like, it was like watching Johnny Evans. I was expecting him to make a.
I love Johnny Evans though. I can't lie. I love Johnny Evans.
I love Johnny Evans. I love Johnny Evans too. But I always expected him to make mistakes.
Can I just make this point? Being dropped in a game where you don't play for 10, you dropped in one game. You don't play in 15. You don't play in 20. You dropped in one game. It's at elite level football. It takes at least 4 games to get match fitness. 4 games to get match fitness. And that's the biggest thing for me. I am absolutely. Ollie got away with it this season. Trust me, any other season would have been injuries. If you think about when you were saying before about that we were dropping because we had so many games leading up to the Leicester game.
Were dropping, yeah.
You know what? Imagine that we had the injuries at the back. Lindelof has played when Bailly's been fit with back problem this season. Bailly comes in, he plays fantastic. You see people hugging him on the pitch. Everybody, you know what he does to the team.
Those hugs are what did him in.
Because of his pace, he literally fundamentally changes the way we play. We push up 30 yards up the pitch. Rachel was reminding me on one of my streams the other night. The only times when we've done that without Bailly was the game City at home, City away when we beat them at the empty yard, and when we played Chelsea
away from home. Yeah, because Warner didn't start as well.
We squeezed the play. We pressed up the pitch, and we had more possession. But other than that, Lindelof, Maguire, both of them individually, when Bailly plays with either of them, he plays well.
Yeah.
But they just don't suit each other. They might know each other, but they don't complement each other.
They don't complement each other.
You're misunderstanding what we're saying. We don't think Lindelof and Maguire is a great partnership. That's not what we're saying. But we're saying Ollie, they're reliable to an extent.
They're reliable to an extent that Bailly and Twanzebe are
from
not.
Those two. Whereas with Bailly, let's keep it real. Bailly, he has to be managed physically. I know it's frustrating, but it's just the guy. I don't think he's managed more than
he needs to call Chris Smalling and go vegan. That's what he needs to do.
He needs to go to Italy. Yeah, he needs to go get some sun. Yeah, he's a black man. He needs some good. He needs real vitamin D, not tablets. Yeah, he needs it from the sun. He needs the Mediterranean diet so he can stay healthy. Because being here in the cold in England, English breakfast up north in Manchester, it ain't working for him.
Trust me. He needs to get on vitamin D tablets that I'm on.
For me, that's the issue. It's like you look at our center backs. Maguire and Lindelof are reliable to an extent, but again, that's what I said at the very beginning of this segment. It's like you chip. You don't even have to dig. Like, don't even get a shovel full and go a layer deep.
Sorry, Brian. Man, think I'm joking. Yeah, I'm not joking.
That's funny.
We need this. We need it. We need it. It's not a joke.
But no, like I mean, we don't even have to get like a shovel full to go a layer deep in this team. You chip you chip below the surface, and it's not steady. Like Twanzebe may have fitness, but he just can't concentrate, and Bailly can never stay fit. So like, I'm not surprised that they're never in the team on a consistent basis. So you're going to play the players who you can put them in something that brings out that like, and it extenuates their strengths and hides their weaknesses, and you know that you're going to be able to have them week in and week out. That's the biggest thing.
Question for everyone: is this Lindelof's best season?
He's been really good this season.
I would say.
I think
he's been really good
for him.
I don't think he's been really good. I don't think he's been.
I say that relatively in comparison to seasons past.
Do you know what it is? He annoyed me more last season. Like, that's why I call him Linda Soft. Like, he's a cow. I used to call him a cow.
Watching him get beat in the air by Jordan Ayew in the beginning of the last season against Crystal Palace was really embarrassing. But then he would go out and have like brilliant performances against and Sterling. But then he'd go out and have like flawless performances against Juventus in the Champions League, right? Like, there's stuff like there's quality in the dude. He just, like, this season he's been more steady, and so has Maguire. Like, both of them have been better, like at doing the basics. And that's the thing that I've appreciated about both of them this season.
By the way, with no defensive midfielder in front of them as well.
Yeah.
Did you guys see? Yeah. Did you guys notice what Fred did for that goal? For the second goal, he was just on the edge of the box.
He was pointing,
and he had no instincts to look behind. He didn't even look over his shoulder.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about Matic. That's the thing different between Fred and Matic. Matic would already be in there, standing in that position, covering that position.
It depends on how fast Roma got the ball forward. Matic might still be at Heffield.
As Fred is telling people to do that, and he's not even doing his job. But I just want to get back to the point. I wanted to make the point about Bailly contract. It just shows you about Glazeronomics, right? A guy, Maguire, has played more games than Bailly's played in his entire career at Man United.
That just tells you, really. That just tells you.
Maguire has played, and it shows you, if you're a footballing director, you go with a medical team. You are forensically scrolling through. Liverpool, they forensically go through everything about players' injury, the types of injuries. This is before they sign them. They do all of the analysis of these players. And you would go through it and think, unfortunately, we're going to have to take that loss and hit and let him go. That's why we still have Jones. I mean, the idea
the way you said his name killed me.
You know what, Ollie talks about him in every press conference. Or who's injured when a journalist asks him, well, who's injured this week? Jones. I'm like, why are you mentioning him? My guy's doing an apprenticeship at the Tesco or the Sainsbury's. You know what I mean? That's when we go to big Tesco's or Sainsbury's, and the supermarkets are available, people. But when we go to them, we're like, is that Jones there? Is that Jones? You know, one of them with a clipboard, making sure the shelves are packed. It's that type of guy. That's what he's doing. He's not a footballer anymore. He's doing an apprenticeship at a supermarket. That's what he's doing. He doesn't. Nobody. I'm thinking, when they do all of the, when the players are coming into training ground and the press,
all the pictures.
What have you ever seen photos shared on social media? Jones driving in. You don't see that.
Do you know what? Yeah, he's the one taking the pictures, isn't it, of them coming into training?
Yeah.
Oh God.
No, it is mad.
I'm glad you brought it around here. What they were saying was that Jones was on the pitch in the at the protest. Jones was like the pitch. There was memes going around in Manchester. Oh, did you see Jones? Jones was in the stadium. He might as well join in. Gaze is out. It just shows, man. And to me, that just shows everything. When people ask me why people protesting, why do we hate the Glazers? It's because of Glazeronomics. Because we do that. And then we let Ender Herrera go when he's worth about 25 million. We let him go. You know what I mean? We let players like him go. We're getting Pogba come to his last year in his contract. An asset like him. And that's what I'm saying. Like, so what are we doing? We're signing on. We're giving Phil Jones only a year and a half ago. We gave him 4.5-year contract.
you know what we're gonna do with Paul Pogba if he
No.
stays? Do you know what we're gonna do with Paul
No.
Pogba if he stays? As much as I want him to stay,
Same with
we're gonna-
Smalling, Rachel. Same with
but
Smalling.
we're gonna
But
fuck up our
Smalling,
wage
like, I wanna
structure
put
all over again.
Yep.
We're gonna
Gonna be
give
another
Paul Pogba
Sanchez.
400 grand a week, maybe more. Then Bruno's gonna be like, hold on a second, have you seen my numbers?
Yeah.
Have you seen my numbers?
Have you seen my penalty conversion rate? How dare you?
Like, have you seen my 5-yard assists that I get every week? Like,
Yeah,
listen,
my 5-yard assist. Yeah,
No,
Give me
it's
half
true.
a mil.
It's a dangerous road. It is a
It
dangerous
is.
road.
it is.
Isn't it?
It's dangerous.
Also, right? Also, if you're a Paul Pogba, you're like, hang on a minute, I'm the star of the team, and I'm getting paid say 200 grand, but that's only 100 grand more than Phil Jones,
Oh,
and
gosh.
he's sitting down.
no, Paul Pogba's
He's
already
playing FIFA.
on. He's already on 250 plus.
Yeah,
But if the club was strong, you know what they'd say to Riola and Pogba? Okay, if you think you can get 400 grand a week on the market, here's your transfer fee. Go get your 400 bags a week.
See you later.
yeah.
Yeah.
If I know.
Yeah,
The thing is, Pogba's
Because
in a very strong position.
If you look
though.
at Arsenal messed up again. They did it with Ozil. They did it with Aubameyang. Nobody else was going to pay Aubameyang that money. You didn't have to pay him that. Call his bluff. Go get that 350 grand a week from Real Madrid. Go on. Go
The
get
same
it.
with Willian, mine, Danny. The same with Willian. No one else is going to pay Willian 230
No.
odd grand a week.
No.
Mourinho would have. Mourinho would have.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Spurs wouldn't have though. That's the thing. Spurs wouldn't have done that.
No, Spurs
They,
wouldn't
they
have.
would
No.
have vetoed it straight away. It's Daniel Levy. He's not doing that.
No, I'm talking about when Mourinho was at United. You don't remember? They wanted to put Martial and Pogba and bring in William and Perisic.
Oh, and
To
Eric
be
Dyer,
fair,
remember?
I'm gonna keep it real. If you hire Mourinho, do what he wants. Yeah. I tell you this. It's
I'm with that,
either just don't buy Lukaku then. If you're not gonna get him as wingers for
I
Lukaku, don't
agree.
buy Lukaku. No point having him.
Yeah, Greenwood
time.
will be 100 games tomorrow. 100 games tomorrow. He's 100th game tomorrow.
Wow, really? 100
Already.
games?
Already.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing, like we're talking about Donny as well. Donny's, I think, made 30 appearances this season. But he's been 10 minutes, 2 minutes. One time, I think he was for half a minute. He was on the pitch for. So,
Oh, do you know what? So Donny van de
And
Beek,
that's
he
why
averages.
Greenwood is not all 90 minutes.
No.
It's 15 minutes there. Some of them,
Yeah,
like,
but he has played a lot of 90-minute games, especially
yeah,
towards the end of last
This
season.
season, yeah.
Yeah, no, I bet if you checked Van de Beek's average game per minute, it's less than an hour. It's probably like 52 minutes per game.
Yeah.
Something low. That's low, by the way. That's really low.
I do think Ollie's taking the piss a bit when he brings him on for the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, when he does that,
That's taking the piss. I'd rather he didn't play him. I'd rather he just didn't play him because playing for the last 5-10 minutes isn't.
You know what I
long.
would
Too
say
much
though?
now.
15, 20
salute
minutes.
to-
Bring him. I get that. I understand that.
I have to salute Van de Beek, top professional. Top
Yeah.
professional.
Yeah.
Some people would
Yeah.
have kicked off, bringing on a man for 5 minutes.
But he
Game
did.
after game.
He did join. Here's the thing. He did join knowing that he'd be a bit part player, right? That we know that came
Yeah.
out. But
Yeah.
bit part for me isn't 5 minutes at the end of a game. That I think there's either something wrong there, or Ollie doesn't feel that this system and this squad suits him, and doesn't want to put him in a position where he's just going to lose confidence.
It's the
Or
position, like,
maybe
he's not
Ollie
good in
just
Vita
doesn't want to
anyway.
deal with Bruno kicking doors down in the dressing room because he gets subbed up after an hour. Who
You
knows?
should want that.
Literally
You should want
every time Bruno gets subbed off, regardless of what the score is, he's always upset. And like I love,
He can play as a number 8, people. Please, he can play as a number 8 in Ajax from the age of 5.
He was-
You're taught to play in 3-4 different positions.
No,
You
but
even
it's not like that though.
play for Ajax.
yeah.
No, it's
I'll
not
be
like
honest.
that though
I don't.
with this team. It's
Yeah,
not like
I don't
that.
really care how many positions he was trained to play in. I want to know what his best one is and put him there. And I don't.
It's a shadow striker.
And I think his best position is a shadow striker. So I don't like.
Do
I
Do you know what it is? Do you know
I
what it is?
personally don't want to see him in
one of the 2 top footballers in world football.
No,
One
but
of
it's
the
not-
best
it's
2.
not
we don't need Donny van de Beek at a number 8 position. Like Bruno can play there, but that's not where he's going to be at his best for us.
No,
So
do
we
you know what
don't
it is?
use him there.
It comes back to the fact that we don't have a CDM. That's all it comes back to. When Donny played for Ajax, right? They played two formations.
Frankie
right?
de Jong was
They
there.
played 4-2-3-1. When Donny played in the pivot, his progressive passes declined massively because he's not that sort of player. He had
Nope.
Jorginho numbers. Do you know how
he's
bad those
been-
numbers are in terms of progressive passing? Like Danny showed me a few weeks ago, they're horrendous. He's not that kind of player. He's all about movement and creating space for others. The reason why
Look.
Ziyech was so good at Ajax, right, was literally because Donny van der Beek created all the space for him, and Ziyech was the one that actually created. Like that was how they played. When he played in a 4-2-3-1, he wasn't good. And actually, I can't remember who the player he played alongside with, but he was a defensive midfielder, had more progressive passes than Donny van der Beek when they played a 4-2-3-1.
Yeah,
and
because
Ollie
Donny
has seen
van der
that.
Beek he's a pop and goal player.
That's
He's
it.
not trying to hold it and
Yeah.
he's a pop and goal.
Exactly.
it.
It's very,
But
very
that's what
different.
we need in midfield, though. That's what we need in midfield.
But this
We
is
need-
the thing,
and
though.
We don't have a defensive
Not
midfielder.
not shielding our back, but
Question.
not shielding our back line. We do not need that shielding our back line. That's where I
I just want
disagree
to
with
ask this
you.
question. I just want to ask this question. You telling me that if Donny played in McTominay's position, Donny's not scoring more goals than McTominay?
But we don't need. But
Yeah, but
McTominay-
we're also
but we don't.
conceding more goals.
Yeah, we would
We're
concede.
conceding goals.
We would concede more goals if he played there instead of McTominay. That's why
We would.
McTominay is
I'm
there.
not with buying a team, man. Not with,
Yes, we would.
Yes, we
Jurgen,
would.
we would.
Yes, we would. We
Donny-
would.
The
Donny
other
vacates
argument
his
there
position
is how
often as well.
many times, how often is Bailly going to be in the team?
I'm
That's
telling
the
you,
other
like,
argument.
we can't sit here and have a conversation as if the sole reason for keeping clean sheets is on your back line. Like you have to have shielding midfielders to protect them. You have
At least one. At least
You have
one.
to have at least one, and that's the thing. That's the thing. It's
Okay,
like-
all right. Let me step in here. Let me
that's
step
the
in on
thing.
this very, very quickly. This is, I don't look. Look, I'm someone who, if I've got a theory on something, that I want Ollie to do, and he doesn't do it, I get frustrated. But that's as far as it goes because I can't back it up with any evidence. The sample size for Donny van der Beek as at Ajax is limited. It's not as extensive as the sample size as him in a midfield three, where he's getting the most touches in the box than any other Ajax midfielder. That evidence is just more substantial. In the Champions League, when people gas up, Donny van der Beek in the Champions League, where was he playing? As an attacking midfielder, getting into the box, scoring goals. It isn't in a double. It wasn't from a double pivot. The double pivot it's a specialist position. I keep telling people this. If you want to criticize the way Ollie picks players in a double pivot, go look at Real Madrid, who won with a double pivot. Go look at Bayern Munich for the last 12 years. Look at the profile of player in those positions, and come talk about the Manchester United team. He's not doing much wrong. I'm frustrated because I want to see Van der Beek there, but in all of those other teams, you will have one specialist. There's always one, just one, not two off, just one. Just give me one specialist. Give me a Declan Rice. Give me a Fernandinho.
Yeah.
Can we get a DM?
That's I mean, I think you're absolutely right, Danny.
Sorry, Brian.
That's
Sorry, Brian. Not only do all of these teams that I've mentioned, by the way, they'll give you a Xavi Alonso, a Mascherano, a Khedira. They'll give you a Thiago sometimes. Give me a technical holding playmaker who's positionally intelligent in the mode of Michael Carrick. We don't even have that. We do have that, but his legs are gone. It's Matic, but his legs are gone.
Yeah,
that's where we're fucked. The dynamic.
The point that I'm making. I want to back up. I want you to have a look at the stats, his energy and tackling stats for Donny van der Beek when he was at Ajax.
Yeah, but that's a different league. That's a league that's
different.
Even in the Champions League, at the highest level in European football,
it's still slower.
But again, what surrounds him?
He's up there as one of the best midfielders, some of the best midfielders in Europe in terms of tackling and helping the team and pressing as well.
But how is he set up? How is he set up systematically to have those statistics? That's the thing. That's the issue. Like, and we've seen it. We've seen it with players that we've signed in other spots as well. Like, for example, think back to when we signed Angel Di Maria from Real Madrid, right? We didn't set Di Maria up in the proper way to get the best out of him. And so we end up getting a bit part version of a player that was a Champions League finalist man of the match the season before. What I don't want to see our team do is like Ollie's not stupid. He's not going to go after a player and be like, oh, well, I've seen him play this position, so I guess that means I can play him there. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, you know what? You need.
I feel like Indiana. Sorry, I feel like we're going around the circle. I want to make this clear. I think there are games over a 38-game Premier League season. I think there are maybe 9 to 10 games that Donny van der Beek can play in central midfield. Do not get me wrong. Don't misunderstand me. But this idea that he is in a double pivot 4-2-3-1
just to see his match fitness. 4 games in a row for him to prove his match fitness.
That's
4,
cool.
you know
No,
what?
I agree with you, bro. I agree with
We
you.
had Fred. Can I
But
just
I
give
don't
you this
think he's a
example?
specialist in that position in a 4-2-3-1. That's all I'm saying.
This is my last
agree.
point. I'm not going to argue again. This is my last point. My last point. We go around in circle, like you said. Fred came into Man United. Mourinho was doing exactly what Ollie was doing now with Van der Beek. Putting him in, taking him out, putting him in. Ollie came in and gave him 8 games in a row. And then we were all talking about Pastor Fred. Oh my God, Pastor Fred. Because
Not me.
I tried to explain
Not me.
Pastor
Yeah,
Poch.
like,
now people were.
you're talking to the wrong people about this one.
When Fred was playing, everything was like there's somebody that we've been missing in our midfield because we've not had for a long time anybody that was tenacious in terms of hustling people. And
We
the
had it in
energy
Herrera.
midfield.
We had it
Yeah,
in
Herrera, but Herrera got booked all the time. He
No,
couldn't tackle properly most of the time.
But in terms of when Herrera left, right, we didn't have anybody else in the team. We had Matic. We were playing Matic and Fellaini against Man City ballers who were just shifting the ball just like 2 yards at the side of them. And they
Top
were
quality.
like some trees.
Injected.
They would look like trees. They look like absolute trees. That's why we named him Static Matic. That's what the name came from. But
Yeah.
when Fred got his fitness up and played more than 4 games, we've seen energy in our midfield. And the biggest thing for me is that footballers change. Donny van der Beek is not a 30-year-old. He's not a 28-year-old. He's 24 years old. He's recently turned 24. Players can adapt to sometimes. This is the elite level of football. You've got the likes of Michael Carrick in the coaching team. Tweaking a player, getting him to play in a new position, that is part of football. We've seen players move. How many times have we seen players leave, play certain way, play certain systems, to go to another clubs, play certain way, and then change fundamentals. I'll give you the classic example. Andy Cole was a tapping merchant before he came to Man United. Absolute tapping merchant. Andy Cole came to Man United from Newcastle. It was Beardsley. It was all the other guys out wide who were just getting that ball in, and he just stayed 6 yards to 10 yards. That's what Andy Cole was. Andy Cole came to Man United, fundamentally changed his game. He became a guy that you can play the ball down to, a guy who can hold the ball, a guy that can spin in the sixpence and turn a defender, a big dopey centre half. That's what he became.
Yeah, but there's a
Donny van der Beek. I'm not even seen it
he's
for
still
4 games.
playing as a striker. No, but
Yeah, that's the difference.
There's another issue.
You see, but
in
well, hold
central
on.
midfield
Hold on,
compared
Danny.
to a 10 in a 4-2-3-1.
Hold on, Danny. Hang on. But that's my thing. It's like the other side of that example. I can give you another side of that example with a different player from Manchester United. We bought Anderson, who was fundamentally a number 10, to and brought him into a system where Ferguson played 4-4-2. We stuck him in a 2-man midfield, and it ruined his career. We never.
I disagree with that.
No.
I disagree with that.
We never.
Right, can I ask you a question?
We never.
When you watched it when he went to Anfield and he was man of the match when he was bullying Gerrard in midfield. Were you watching that game or are you forgetting that?
How many games did he play for Manchester
He
United?
was injured. He broke his leg.
Brian, wait. Brian, there's something you're missing here, yeah? There's something you're missing here, Brian. Yeah, because this is my era now. We're talking. This is my formative years. We didn't. You know what it is? We made a mistake with Anderson because when you actually watched him in a number 10 position, he was terrible with his back to goal. He was shocking. That's why we moved him so we can face forward. And actually, Sir Alex Ferguson got a tune out of him. He used to play him every now and again in spots, 3 to 4 games in a row, like my man suggested we do with Van der Beek. And he would give us an hour, solid, and he'd get taken off because he was overweight and couldn't last the whole game. That's
you know
the
what?
truth of it.
You know what? He wasn't the kind of number 10. He was more of a wide number 10 who would do the skills and dribbles. He would never.
But he couldn't play. But he couldn't play with his back to go and play, mate.
Because he liked to play forward, like having the ball in his feet, facing up defenders, and doing trickery before he broke.
And by the way, he used to drive past people through the middle of the pitch, carrying the ball.
He did drive with the ball.
So
So
I think you've missed it there with Anderson. To be fair, Brian.
Listen, the only thing I would say,
I disagree, but I didn't get a chance to finish my thought. But we can move on.
the only thing I'd say about Van der Beek is for me, he's such an intelligent footballer, and where the downfall is with Donny van der Beek is that most of the players on the pitch are not intelligent footballers, and that is the biggest problem for me. I think Cavani. I'd rather see him play with a Cavani, a Bruno, a Mata than I would want to see him play with a McTominay, a Fred, a Wan-Bissaka.
I'm not going to lie. I've got to throw Rashford in there, yeah. You want to know?
Yeah.
I've got to say very quickly,
to an
Liana.
extent,
Sorry.
I don't think Martial's
There was one game,
that level either.
I don't know if it was Leicester or another game where
Dan James.
Van der Beek, right? Rashford gets the ball, and Van der Beek had to make 3 different runs because he couldn't predict what Rashford was going to do. Couldn't predict what he was going to do.
You've said it yourself, though. He likes to pop the ball off. He gets into space, incredible movement. But you've got to be on the same wavelengths as the players in the side with you. That's not gonna happen if you've got Rashford out wide, Dan James on the other wing, and you're playing next to Fred and McTominay. It's not going to happen.
Can I ask Mr. Structure a question? Who's the perfect partner in this current team for Van der Beek to thrive as a central midfielder?
If we're playing the way we're playing now, I will play Fred because Fred can get around. Fred can get around, and when he vacates the space, Fred sometimes on his own can cover. He's got the legs to cover. Matic would have been the perfect guy. Matic 6 years ago.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, who cleans up, who gets everybody to attack, and he's the guy. But as somebody who was sneaking into Old Trafford since I was a kid, right? The idea that Man United play with 2 holding guys who can't create jack, it just, I've lost my hair.
See, I would have liked McTominay beside Van der Beek opposed to Fred personally.
No,
I don't want to see either of them next to Van der Beek.
I think what you do to Fred is if you play Fred alongside Van der Beek, you end up in a situation where you actually stifle Fred because Fred is excellent at pressing higher up the pitch as well. When he plays alongside Paul Pogba, people always complain, why is Paul Pogba deeper than Fred at times? Because Fred, he presses very high up the pitch. So if you play Fred and Van der Beek, right, and Van der Beek wants to get forward and Fred wants to press higher up the pitch, what do you have in front of our defence? You have nothing. Or you have Van der Beek playing deeper.
You know what I'm trying to get to here? What I'm trying to get to here, as I said again, we've all got these theories. Look at any team that's won the Premier League, La Liga, Bundesliga, Serie A, or Champions League with a 4-2-3-1. There's always a specialist, either someone in the mode of a Carrick or a Mascherano.
There has to be.
And that's not my. I'm not giving you my opinion here. I'm giving you facts on how you win with 4-2-3-1.
Manchester United aren't. Manchester United aren't going to win the Premier League with McTominay and Fred holding in midfield.
Perfect
but
example.
About winning. Even when you identify the right profile for that formation. Remember, Oli inherited Matic. He inherited Fred. Mourinho doesn't even want Fred, by the way. He inherited McTominay.
Exactly.
If a technical director could start from scratch, all right, let's put it like this. You don't sign 2 box-to-box midfielders, a hybrid and Paul Pogba, and a past-it Matic as your base of in a 4-2-3-1. That's not what you do. You'd go. The first thing you go and do is get one specialist, either someone in the mode of Thiago or someone in the mode of Declan Rice. That's the first thing you do.
For Oli is 4-3-3.
It's not though.
It's not.
We don't have the players for it.
I know.
It's not.
I can only see Man United winning. For me, in terms of because I think with this pivot business, we're too slow. We're too slow in this build-up.
That's not the pivot though. That's the players we have playing.
Yeah, the issue isn't the formation. This is another formation.
The football I've seen Manchester United play under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been 4-3-3. And Herrera and Matic. Well, Herrera, younger Matic, Herrera and Pogba. And it was the first 3 months Ole came in. Because
and he changed it for a reason.
Yeah, he changed it because Matic can't play at the base of a 3-man midfield anymore. He doesn't have the legs.
Even under Mourinho at the back end, we got tired of Matic as a single pivot because he couldn't hold it down. He get bypassed and can't recover.
Yeah.
We know that. We had this evidence before Oli came in. If you stick with Matic, even when you had Herrera next to him, he still got bypassed. Under Mourinho's low block.
4-3-3 is more aggressive attacking style of play than.
No, of course it is. But I can't be angry with Oli.
Because
I can't be angry with Oli because he doesn't play the formation.
And the whole midfield to be able to defend when the team's under the cosh and to be able to attack when the team needs to get forward.
No, but are you mad that Oli doesn't play that formation because of the players that we have?
Not with these players. Not with these players.
Okay, fair enough. Okay,
well, I'm thinking that's the best I've seen. The best style I've seen from Oli has been the best football I've seen will always be that first 3 months where
No,
we
I agree.
game.
Sure. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think we all know we need a DM. Like for me, a DM is more important than getting a centre back, because if you've got someone who can read the game really well, you're more secure defensively. It will allow us to free up Pogba. Pogba can play more positions. Donny van de Beek, maybe we could play a 3. It gives us so many more options, but we'll go and get a winger anyway, and just a winger.
No, we're gonna, Indiana,
Honestly,
come on.
if we get a
Indiana,
centre-back and a
come on. We're gonna
right-back,
get both. We're gonna get both.
No, I don't think we're gonna get both.
No,
It's really
no,
one
we're
or
gonna
the
get
other.
both. Indiana,
Because
we're gonna get
here's the
Sancho
thing.
and Danny Ings on a free.
No, here's the thing. The Ings and Mings, yeah.
Ings
Yo,
and
that's
Mings.
Indiana. You
What
guys know that's
you want?
Indiana's
Ings
worst
and
nightmare,
Mings.
right?
What a summer.
That is my worst nightmare. Yeah, it is.
Indiana's
No, it is.
leaving.
I've been
He's
saying
leaving.
Ings and
He's
Mings for a
dipping
long
out.
time. But
I'll boycott social media and YouTube. You won't see me.
listen,
You know who I rate? You know who I rate more than Mings? You know who I rate? I wrote the guy who plays next to him. I rate the guy who plays next to him for Villa. Conser. I really rate him. I genuinely rate him. Watch this space. That kid has got a brighter future. On one-on-ones, he's good. In the air, the one who makes the mistakes is who? The one when Villa concede goals.
Oh no, we're talking about Danny Ings as a striker.
No, we're talking about
no, I said Mings as well.
Mings.
Oh,
Mings. I
Mings as
said.
well. Okay.
Mings and Ings. Have you not heard about it? Mings and Ings.
And all them things. Yeah, no, that's just not. Yeah, and Glazer things. We're not having it. No. See, my problem is with Manchester United is we're not at the stage where we should be buying players to just fill holes or replacing like for like. We're now at the stage where we should be buying top players. That's where we are. I think we've built enough. And if we're going to move forward with one manager, we need to do that.
Varane, Declan Rice, Sancho. Trust me.
Yeah.
That's it, really.
I'm with that. Listen,
Trust me.
we're gonna start wrapping up, but we should just do quick predictions for tomorrow. Start with Rachel. Score for tomorrow, please.
7-1 United.
Oh wow, I love it.
LOL.
Well, we're scoring 7 tomorrow, or the end result over 2 legs is 7.
No. We're scoring 7 tomorrow. 7-1.
Wow. Okay. Vita.
I don't know. If Ali makes certain changes, I'll say maybe 3-0. I can't see Roma getting past our defense. Realistically, I can't see Roma threatening us anymore. They might come forward, but I just feel like we just got them. Realistically,
Fair enough. Brian, prediction, please.
Yeah, it'll be 3-0 Man United. Roma will come at us, and that's when we're at our best.
Please, Mourinho team ain't coming at anyone.
Apparently in the comments, it said Mourinho's not taking over till next season anyway.
Yeah, he won't be there tomorrow.
No, he won't be there.
Oh,
They're
perfect
coming
time.
out.
My son's just started
He's
crying
just
and woken
chilling
up.
in Rome right now, picking up his pay packet from Spurs. The leave he
I'm
wanted
going,
to
if
spend.
Oli
Right now.
goes full strength, I'm going to say 3-0. If he doesn't go full strength, like a 1-0 or even maybe a 0. Yeah, I'll go 1-0 if we don't go full strength team.
Bruno
Boring
penalty.
game.
Inject it.
Yeah, exactly. I've got to go. Thanks for being on, Indiana.
Yeah, no worries,
Gotta go.
buddies.
Peace.
No, what's your prediction for tomorrow?
I think United would score. I think we have to score first half. So I would say maybe 1-1, 2-2 in that type. I don't think they were as bad as they were because the 3 injuries. We forget the 3 injuries that disturbed
No, they're bad.
the team. They weren't that bad.
No, they're not actually a bad side, Roma. They're not a bad side.
They're not a bad side, and I think that when it was 2-1, we were looking shaky. You know what I mean? We wanted half time quickly. You know what I mean? We were like, let's get half time
definitely.
quickly. Because we were looking shaky, and every time they were playing quite fluid. And when the 3 injuries came, it properly disturbed their game. But I just want that Ronaldo goal being recreated tomorrow. Somebody scored that absolute banging header at that same end. You know where the hardcore fans usually sit, because that's what Ronaldo for me. They're one of the greatest goals. Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Do you know what goal we're going to score? We're going to score the Rooney goal. You know the one where Ronaldo gets the ball at the end of the box and he plays it with Ryan Giggs, and then he plays the 1-2 and then he gets the ball into the edge of the box. That's
Listen, I'm backing Diallo to score tomorrow when he comes on for the last 25 minutes.
Yes.
I'm backing him. Listen, people, thank you very much for tuning in. Make sure you follow everybody on their socials. Go check out their channels. I think Rachel would have put them in the description. If she hasn't, we'll add them in after. Tomorrow night is the offside rule, so please go and support the ladies on that. Subscribe, smash the like, go and follow everybody, and go to sleep, everyone, because it's going to be a good game tomorrow.
Thank you for having me on, guys.
Love having you on, Nuruddin.